I'll start by telling you about two friends of mine growing up. Friend A, they were incredibly thoughtful towards me, towards others. They always came through on everything they said that they were going to do. They were super polite. My parents loved them. Friend B, their choice of vocabulary left some people kind of wondering, like, what is it exactly that makes me want to have my kids spend time with you? And when they drove me somewhere, they were the reason that I came in, or at least one of the reasons why I came in after curfew. Their reputation around town was kind of shaky as well. Here's the thing about both of those friends that I'm trying to just describe for a second. Both of those friends, they're actually the same person. And just like we can have one friend who leads us in two completely different directions, I think technology can kind of do the very same thing. Technology, we can play whatever song, wherever we want, whatever we want. We can ask for it to take us to the most remote place in the world that will take us there. But technology can do some other things as well. Technology can create some really addictive things. It can take us to some really dark and evil places. I think that's true about technology. That technology is like that friend that can take us in both directions. As youth workers, we have an opportunity to model and to teach healthy use of tech to our kids, and to be a resource for parents to help them know about what's going on. This summer, biennial convention, I'm going to guess a number of you might have been there. Biennial convention, we hosted Jonathan McKee, who spoke on this very same thing. So I would just encourage you, as you hear about ministries like his, CPYU, whatever it might be, that you take advantage of those things, those resources. And I think that's true for so many different subjects, but that you do take advantage of those things. Last fall at my church, I'm a pastor in Rochester. About a quarter of my time is spent with youth ministry. The other pastor, he enjoys youth ministry as well, so we kind of split that role at our church. And the first 3 weeks of Sunday school in the fall, I did a combined class for parents and for students together, and it was on the topic of technology. And what we did is we tried to have as many conversations with parents and kids at the very same time. And what I did is, as I started to think about sharing here with you guys today, is I looked at all the notes that I had, and I said, all right, how do I consolidate 3 weeks worth of stuff down to about 10 minutes? So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to share about 10 minutes out of 3 weeks worth of stuff. And I will name this that I think for one of the weeks, I used material by Fuller Youth Institute. If you are not using the resources, I'd encourage you. But they've got a curriculum called Every Parent's Guide to Navigating the Digital World. I think that was really insightful stuff, some really good stuff. So what I want to do is I want to put 3 questions or 3 topics in front of you. And I'm going to guess that there's some stuff here that you're going to say, yeah, I know that. There's going to be some stuff that you're going to say, okay, that was stuff that I'm not aware of. First would be that kids today, they are digital natives. So raise your hands if you're over the age of 40. All right. Good. All right, some of you are over the age of 40. That's good. If you're over the age of 40, you likely remember when things like portable CD players came out, right? That was a great device back in the day. You could play music wherever you wanted. You didn't have to have your headphones jacked into your stereo system in your house. So as you think about something maybe like that, let's think about how technology has changed from, say, that generation to now. We went from having rotary phones. My parents, I think they got rid of their rotary phone about 15 years ago. We had rotary phones hanging on our walls, and then we moved to touch-tone phones. We went from touch-tone phones to cordless phones, and then cordless phones obviously stayed at homes, but some people started disconnecting their phones from their homes. People got cell phones, especially like when phones first came out and they were super expensive. That was a few people had, but now everybody's got them. And think about that now for kids. Kids now are getting phones of all sorts of ages. They're getting tablets, they're getting laptops. It became a necessity during COVID for sure. And as I name that, I'm not trying to advocate for kids to have phones at a really young age. Actually, me and my wife, we tried really hard to delay as long as we possibly could getting a phone for our daughter. I think 6th grade, she got like one of those kind of 10-number watches that I can call And then it was like 8th grade that she finally actually got like a real phone because she got tired of using this phone with her friends. That's where we gave in. But as I think about that, I can't help but think about just an article I read. I read about some really powerful executives in America that when they were asked when did they give phones to their kids, they talked about giving phones to their kids in high school. So it wasn't that they couldn't afford to do it. They just said, I'm not going to do it because they recognized the dangers and the power that they were putting in the hands of their kids. What I hope that you hear it is that the world that we live in now is a completely different world than it was when many of us were younger. And it's a world that is interactive. It's a world that is very interconnected. And kids today, they're born with instant connectivity all around them. And like it or not, we can't get our kids to think about media the way that maybe we did when we were their age. That's not the world that we live in now, and it's not the one that is going to be the world that they find themselves living in the future. The reality means that many of us that we're digital immigrants, but that our kids are digital natives. And if you haven't heard that phrase, what I read was that phrase was developed by an educator by the name of Mark Prensky. All right, that was the first question. Second question that I want to wrestle with is, why should we worry? So I'm going to guess that there's going to be many things that you're going to name about why we should worry. And as I name that question, my guess is very quickly, things like online predators becomes one of those things that comes to your mind, or pornography. And when it comes to porn, studies show that parents who talk about that as a topic with their kids in their adolescence, that they actually reduce the use of porn in emerging adulthood. And if you're looking for a resource, one of the resources that I would recommend as you look to for yourself, but as well as you point to parents, would be Center for Parent Youth Understanding has a Digital Kids Initiative. The website for it is digitalkidsinitiative.com. Great list of resources that are there for parents as they try to figure out how do they have conversations with their kids. Here's some more things that the parents and all of us probably worry about. Maybe the impact of depression as it's related to technology, or we talk about the topic of who's your identity, and we talk about that desire that people have for comparison that shows up in technology. Maybe it's the addiction of technology that's one of the things that we worry about. Maybe it's trying to figure out how do we get kids to set limits on their technology. Maybe it's things like cyberbullying, internet privacy. Maybe there's that, they took a picture and they posted it and you're wondering, why did they post that picture? Another topic would be sexting. Walt Miller on the topic of sexting said, when it comes to sexting, it's hard to know the real percentages of teens who participate. We know both genders participate mostly through private messaging, through apps like Yellow, which has been dubbed the Tinder for kids. And related to that as a topic, one of the things that I just found as I was getting ready for that Sunday school class, and as I was revisiting it for now, was the topic of vault apps. So I don't know if you're familiar with it. I didn't know about vault apps until I came across it. I would say I stumbled upon it. Vault apps on the surface, they look like innocuous apps, but they hide behind them, say like a calculator. It looks like it's a calculator app, but behind that is a completely different set of functions. For example, Apple recently took down, this probably about at least 6 months ago, but they took down from their Apple Store apps that were intended to hide pornographic photos. Well, as you think about all those things and so many other things, technology has given lots of things to be worried about. I want to read one scripture to you. Proverbs 10:9 says, whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. So for us, as we come alongside students, we get to help students navigate with technology. And I believe that as we do so, that we're helping them to live out this scripture. Well, here's the third question that I want to put in front of us. What can we do or know to help the families that we work with as they seek to come alongside their students with technology? And the first thing that I want to name is this, is to support families who decide to delay technology for their teens. and I've tried to lay out a case a little bit already, but it's not a bad thing at all. Secondly, help parents to understand their role, the role that social media plays in kids' lives today. Fuller Youth Institute, regarding this, as the topic said, parents often underappreciate how a quick scroll through social media for a teen can look like they're looking around the lunchroom. It's their way of checking in, comparing, picking up, and dropping social cues, and knowing whether they're okay. And just like the lunchroom, sometimes they care too much. Social media is a space where you can express yourself in a wide variety of ways and get immediate and constant feedback from your friends and peers and even total strangers. They don't all love it, but most young people feel like they have to stay connected. Well, here's the third thing that I would encourage you to be thinking about when it comes with parents. Keep parents updated on youth culture. Center for Parent Youth Understanding puts out an awesome monthly resource. You can print it off, you subscribe for it, you pay for it. It's really low cost. I think it's $60 a year. You can send it out digitally. Just gives a lot of great resources for families. Fourth thing I would say is that, and this is in my mind, I think the most important thing that you can do is help families and students so that technology doesn't become this thing that divides relationships. And one way to do that is to help to create conversations so parents and students can dialogue about technology. Maybe asking students and parents while they're together, kids, why do you check your phones as often as you do? And having students and their families hear those answers at the same time. Their answers might help parents to bridge some of that technological divide. Another question that they could ask is, what is a good way for parents to monitor their kids' phones? That was a great question when I had that Sunday school class with kids and parents, and some students at first thought, like, parents don't have a right to look at my phone. But as we talked, they really did see, okay, mom and dad own the phone, it's their phone, different things like that. But I think that's an important thing as well. Here's another option that we have. It's to be a voice to both parents and to teens that phones in bedrooms is a not healthy thing to have. And I would just encourage you, as you have an opportunity to speak into the lives of students, to speak into the lives of parents, to affirm them with that. Another way is to respect and to support what parents have decided. And that was kind of lined up with the first one that I named when it comes to when their kids can have technology. Here's the thing, technology does not have to be this divider. As you help families, encourage families to develop a process where they take the training wheels off. And I'm going to list three kind of stages here. This comes from that Fuller material that I named at the beginning. But Fuller says that there are three stages to letting go of kids when it comes to the technology of our kids. First would be monitoring them. Second would be mentoring our kids, and third would be being their companion with technology. Unfortunately, just like when we help our kids to ride a bike, there's going to be some accidents that happen, there's going to be some scrapes that happen, there's going to be some decisions that maybe they regret. As you're able, remind families that even in those moments that they need grace for each other. Thanks for your time.